What's cracklin', everybody? Welcome back once again to the definitive cereal tier list. For each episode, we take a cereal, put it on the tier list, so you know how good it is. I'm your host Tucker, and this episode we're doing our smallest Malt O Meal cereal yet with Cinnamon Toasters, their version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So obviously, last episode we broke from the once world-renowned Malt O Meal tradition of C's with a D. Cocoaroos kind of let us down there, but I think Cinnamon Toasters, that's it, might fall back to that well-known trait, partially because its basis, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, is a C already, and one of the main issues with Cinnamon Toast Crunch was that they didn't know the crunch aspect of their name, that it did not last long. And that has traditionally been an issue with Malt O Meal cereals. So we'll see if Cinnamon Toasters can maintain that same level at least, and hopefully not degrade it further. But we'll see. Hopes aren't super high that this is going to get anywhere above a C. Well, let's just open up this tiny bag. This is the one, all the others have at least been able to sort of get to stand on their own. This one could not. I don't know why it's smaller, but it is. Okay, yeah. Cinnamony, almost buttery cinnamony flavor, or scent. It's sort of close. I feel like the design on the pieces for the Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a little cooler, I guess. Looks a little better. See what I'm talking about here? There we go. That's probably got a massive glare. But it seems very consistent with these. That's kind of like light. This is very darked cinnamon. So we'll see, not consistent across the pieces, but I don't think Cinnamon Toast Crunch was super consistent either. This just is more visually, I think, noticeable. Okay. So it is crunchier, but it tastes more like or feels, I guess, more like a stale crunch than a just crunchy thing. So that's not great. And cinnamon taste is there. I don't think, on initial taste, I don't think it's blending as well with the pieces. Okay, a couple more bites in. Not getting that stale sort of crunch anymore, so I think that was just a weird first bite, an unfortunate first bite, but it seems just kind of be similar crunch level to, or crunch type to the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So a little more crunchy, I think, initially, but I expect that to go away quickly. So taste-wise, it is, sort of just tasting like a generic cinnamon cereal, nothing too crazy or outstanding there. But I don't know. I don't think I loved Cinnamon Toast Crunch as much as a lot of people do. So maybe I'm just not super into cinnamon cereal. But this is fine, honestly. It's, once again, like a lot of the Malt O Meal ones, it's not bad. It's totally just fine. But it's not really doing anything to make me think, oh yeah, this is an improvement on Cinnamon Toast Crunch, or this is perfect replication, or anything. I'm just kind of thinking like, oh yeah, this is fine. I'd said there was no improvement on Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I'm getting it to the end here, and not all the pieces are as just straight up soggified as Cinnamon Toast Crunch was. So I guess that is better. But I think as I've been eating this more, I just don't like the crunch that these pieces are giving me. I'm not really getting that initial stale one too much anymore. It just, I don't know, not a crunchy texture that I'm super into at the moment. So, you know, there you go. An improvement, sorta, with a pretty big caveat. Okay, but we got a lot of cinnamon swirling in this milk now, so let's see how that goes. Not really blending, there's a lot just kind of sticking to the bowl, but having it in the milk, that's a much stronger cinnamon. Not as sweet either, but strong cinnamon taste, which I guess is something. Yeah, it's getting the cinnamon taste, but not really any of the sweetness of the pieces. So it's kind of a weird milk taste, and don't necessarily love that. So it's not the best of the cinnamon toast type cereals, but not quite the worst either. So good job. So even though it's not super my thing, I think taste wise I would still pick Cinnamon Toast Crunch over Cinnamon Toasters. The soggification factor technically is a bit more of a win for Cinnamon Toasters, but again, not super into the crunch they're giving me. So while it's good that they maintain that in some of the pieces a bit longer, still not a huge fan of it. And again, it's weird to me that the milk didn't really have any of the cinnamon sweetness, just cinnamon going on. So that gave me like a subtle flashback to the cinnamon and pecan Special K, like how that was super cinnamony. The milk was kind of like that, obviously not to that extreme, but still a strong pure cinnamon, not sweet cinnamon. So what I'm going to do then is give Cinnamon Toasters a D, making that the second Malt O Meal to break that C trend we had going. So now, a little scary here, it looks like we're starting a D trend with Malt O Meals, but hopefully trends are no longer a thing for Malt O Meal cereal. That would be great. But really the issue here, the reason I can't put it in the same tier as Cinnamon Toast Crunch, its basis, is that it just gets enough things off that putting it there, they're not equivalent enough for that to be okay. Like with Marshmallow Mateys or Berry Colossal Crunch, that like was close enough to those cereals. I was like, okay, these are still kind of fine, and it's a C. Like, okay, they would be in the same tier if the originals had been a B. Those would still be a C, I think. So in that aspect of just kind of comparing it as its own thing, not even just straight up against Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I think it's just a bit of a weaker cereal, like Cocoa Ruse was. But then when you add that added factor of it's trying to replicate this thing, it's like, yeah, not a great job. Obviously, okay, compared to the C-ranked Malt O Meals, not as good, but compared directly with Cocoa Ruse, I think it's a little closer to what it was trying to do. Obviously, Cocoa Ruse had some issues with the type of chocolate taste they were doing, but this one, it's not great, not a great comparison, so it can't be a C, but it's still a little better than that other D in replicating it. But taste-wise, I'd still eat Cocoa Ruse over this. So that's the complicated hierarchy we're building right now with these Malt O Meal, the Malt O Meal tier within the whole tier list. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, post your general thoughts. If you've had an experience with cinnamon toasters, let me know. right off the bat, be sure to let me know if you've had both, how you'd compare this with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. If you think this got the crunch aspect more so than Cinnamon Toast Crunch did, let me know. If you're super into Cinnamon Toast Crunch and be kind of talking negatively about a lot of that cereal, not really doing it for you, let me know. If you know why this bag is smaller, let me know. Like, there's a lot of just thoughts from you that I'm curious about for this one specifically. But, we'll see. We're doing a pretty good job getting through this first, at least initial month of Malt O Meal cereals. So hopefully we at least go back to C's after this, if not a little higher. But until next time, stay delicious.